Hello there, welcome back to another video, welcome back to another top 10 fragrances. This is the summer list of the Middle Eastern houses. I'm super excited to do this video because this has been waiting for some time to get this list done, and my frags were basically being shipped from the decantation and all of that. So finally I have all of my frags that I wanted for the top 10 list, and I want to present my favorite fragrances that I've kind of experienced this year as summer fragrances. So let's begin this particular list. So you're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this intro. Welcome back, and before we actually get into the video itself, I just want to quickly say that if you like the type of content that I bring, please like and hit the subscribe button, share your thoughts, share your comments, share it with fellow fraggers whom you like, and give this channel a little bit of love. You can follow me on Instagram and other social media as well, right? So let's get going. So first of all, let me do 3 honorary mentions that are there in this particular video, but they are not in the top 10 list, but because I thought although they are good fragrances, I thought these are not there yet, but here are 3 honorable mentions. One is La Infinite from the House of Fragrance World, which is an alternate of the La Immensité of Louis Vuitton. So this is from Fragrance World. So this is an honorable mention. You can definitely consider this fragrance if you like a citrusy fragrance with a little bit of grapefruit, ginger type of a note. You can definitely consider this. So this is one of the honorary mentions. Another one definitely from the House of Maison Alhambra called as Porto Neroli. This is basically the alt of Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. So if you like a spicy citrusy fragrance with a little bit of that masculinity that you would want, although the performance on this is a little low, but a very nice green aromatic spicy type of fragrance, you can definitely consider this. This is also an honorary mention. And of course the latest one, which is the Armaf Ventana Marine. Now I have not done a full review of this particular fragrance, but however on close sniffing I kind of like the way this particular fragrance opens, and to some extent you get a nice citrusy opening and then it moves to something else. But I think this is definitely a good fragrance if you want to consider for summer, although the bottle is like quite nice, actually not bad at all. So this is Armaf's Ventana Marine, a citrusy fragrance, I think on the lines of Louis Vuitton's Imagination, a little bit of Bleu de Chanel, all of that. I'll do a detailed video review of this and then I'll talk to you about completely, but on the whole it's a good scent to consider, right? So these are 3 honorary mentions, so let's keep them aside and let's get going with the top 10 of the Middle Eastern house fragrances. Now in this particular list, I'm not really doing it as 10, 9, 8 and to say that this is my best. These are my top 10 fragrances that I think are excellent for summers, and we'll see how they go, and I'll give you a list by the end of this particular video, right? So on number 10 is this. Alright, so number 10 is yours. So this is the first one on this list, which is basically the Awaz Highs from the House of Rasasi. So this was the newest flanker and one of the most hyped fragrances this year. And this particular fragrance for me is most citrusy, oriental notes, a little bit of citrusy notes, a lot of musk, and of course there's a good amount of fruit elements, and there is musk as well. But there is also the minty note that is what differentiates this particular fragrance from the original Awaz that is there, right? So this I feel is more appealing for this year and lasts really long, about 6 to 7 hours, I would say 5-6 hours at least, and then performs also really well. 2 to 3 feet is something that you will get, and I think a good flanker for summers, especially considering if you like that bubblegummy DNA of Awaz and you want a little bit of that twist into that with a little bit of a minty, fruity accord that can get you a little more compliment. You can definitely consider this. This is really good for summer also. Another important thing about most of these fragrances, I think the lasting is pretty decent on these ones, so you can definitely get these, right? So this is Rasasi Awaz Ice, which is my number 10 pick on this particular list. Number 9, I thought I'll include Bade Al Oud, which is the Honor and Glory Sublime. Okay, now this is the newest flanker that also was released this late last year in India, and I think it's a good summer fragrance as well, especially for people who like fruity fragrances, people who like fragrances that have got the notes of plum. Even this says Rasasi Awaz Ice also has got the note of plum, but here also there is plum, but the plum is a little more pronounced here, and the fruity elements like apple, lychee, those things are more pronounced, but it's a very nice fragrance. fragrance, especially because of a couple of reasons. It's very unisex, it's very mass appealing, and as you know, this is an alt of Kayali's Juicy Apple. Okay, so this is what this particular fragrance is trying to resemble. It's a very nice fruity kind of a fragrance with a little bit of a citrusy element and a little bit of a plum element, which makes this very, very nice. And for one of the other good reasons why you should include this in your list, or you should consider this, is because of the performance. You get solid performance on this particular fragrance, about 7 to 8 hours easy, and projects for about 3 feet plus as well. And in the first 1.5 hours, it's good projection, and after that, it's kind of softens up. But on the whole, it's a very, very good fragrance to add to your summer list, especially in the Bade Aloud series. I think this is the only one which is really, really good for all year, all summer, all unisex kind of a fragrance. So if you buy one of these, definitely both of you can absolutely enjoy it, right? So this is Honor and Glory's Sublime, alt of Kayali's Juicy Apple, if you like a fruity, plumacious summer fragrance in your list. Number 8 on my list is this particular fragrance from the house of Prestige Arabia called as Ishtar Citrus Oud. Now, I recently did a video of this particular fragrance and I got a very good response of it. We also told you that, you can buy a brand new from us, and many people reached out to buy this. So, that is, we are very thankful for that. Although I would love to say that this is one of the nicest fragrances this year, because this is a fragrance, like I said, it's very much from inspired from Nishane Asiwat and also a little bit of Sidrat Boys from Mansera. So you have those tropical fruit elements, you have lime, you also have fruity touch, you have woody elements to it, but you get a kind of concoction that's mixed with Nishane Asiwat and Sidrat Boys together. You get that tropical pineapple element, you get a little bit of the leather kind of a touch as well, because Sidrat Boys has got leather, and that's where I think the leather is coming from. But otherwise, this is a sweet type of a fragrance with a little bit of a leather hint. It's got a little bit of that tropical fruit vibe. On the whole, very, very nice for a couple of reasons. The scent profile is top notch. I wish I could include even the hypnotic amber from this house, which I will get in a few days time. That is also fantastic, but since it's not here, I'm not adding that, but that is definitely one of the very nice ones to be added to a summer list. This is very good for a couple of reasons. One, the performance is superb. You get 7-8 hours easy, even going up to 10-12 hours on apparels and as well. And of course, projects for about 2 feet plus, but mostly it is that scent profile so very nice. And if you like, generally, if you like the Aventus DNA, from which you can think about Nishane Asiwat or you can think about Sidrat Boys, this also works on that line. So if you like tropical, fruity, pineapple, slight sweet, woody, that kind of fragrance, you should definitely include this in your list. So this is Prestige Arabia's Ishtar Citrus Oud. Excellent performance, excellent scent profile, great value for money in my opinion. You can definitely consider this. This is number 8 on my list here. Number 7 on my list is Ardal Zafran's Al Dirgam. I mean, this has to be there on this particular list because I think this is one of those most value for money kind of fragrances. I think at about 1450 or roughly within 1500 rupees, I think it's a great fragrance to have because it smells very nice. Okay, it's got a lot of marine notes, it's got a lot of vanilla, it's got a lot of sea salt, a little bit of spicy elements, all of that, and it's got a little bit of the floral white touch kind of a feeling as well. And you know that this is an alternate, or they say this is an alternate of Allure Sport. Like I said, I wouldn't know how close it is, but I think it's on those lines. It's a good fragrance. The only drawback that I felt with this one is it's little lighter on the performance side. It gets about 4.5-5 hours, okay, and projection is decent, about 2 to 3 feet, so mostly about 2 feet or so, but great value for money, especially mass pleasing fragrances, people who like white floral, marine, aquatic, salty, with a little bit of woody, musky, amber type of element. You can definitely consider this, and it's a great bottle, great value for money, great presentation, I would say, and the presentation is really, really good as well for the whole bottle, and it's really good juice at this particular price point, right? So because you're looking at fragrances that are let's say 1700 for La Infinite, then you have Armaf almost at 2000, Porto Neroli at about 1200, Rasasi Ice, which is the most expensive, about 4,700 rupees or so. When you consider all of that, this at 1400 rupees for 100 ml is superb value for money. You can definitely get it if you want to do a respray, or if you want a lighter fragrance and you're okay to respray after about 4.5 hours, you should definitely consider getting this one. So this is a nice fragrance again. You can definitely consider Ardal Zafran's. This is Aldirgam, okay, which is supposed to be an alt of Allure Home Sport. All right, so that's, I think, about number 7 or so. So let's get into the other list of the fragrances. Number 6 on this particular list is a summer banger. This is Ahmad Al Maghrabi's Kaf. Okay, now this is fantastic, and I think this is one of the most sold, most sought after summer fragrances of this year, and the price is kind of shot up, reaching almost 2,200 rupees on Instagram, I mean on Facebook and online, and but still quite a lot of demand for this particular fragrance, and for rightly the right type of reasons, because the scent profile is superb, the lasting is awesome, and projects like crazy. The performance is the most important thing, and value for money. You get 100 ml for about roughly about 2,200 rupees, and you know that this is an alternative of Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, right? So which is basically a fragrance that's got a lot of citrusy elements, it's got good white flower elements in the middle, and then of course you also have musk, you have amber, all of that. On the whole, it smells so nice in the air. It's a compliment getter. The room fills up when you put on this particular fragrance, and even in high heat this performs well. Even in high heat you get about 5-6 hours, which is superb. But if you're indoors and you want a great fragrance that lasts for about 10-12 hours and all, you should definitely consider Kaf, because I think most people got it for a lower price, 1,700, 1,800 rupees when it was before the summers, but the price has kind of gone up, and this will be in demand as well. So this is also a very, very nice fragrance to consider, especially if you like citrusy, slight spiciness, floral, musky kind of a fragrance with a little bit of good vibe that you get, a little bit of sweetness that you want in your fragrances. You can definitely consider this Kaf from Ahmad Al Maghrabi, a long, big performer, right? So that's number 6, right? So I think we've come to a half part of the video, and let's get to the top 5 right after this. All right, number 5, right? So this is Blue by Ahmad Al Maghrabi. Now this is one of my favorite fragrances of this year, and I think this was a I probably take credit for the gem as a find for this particular fragrance, because after that so many people have kind of requested for this particular video for this fragrance, comparison to the other fragrance from Iconic, all of that. But I think on the whole this is really, really good. So for me there is a bit of a problem with the cap. So anyways, that aside, this is Blue by Ahmad. This is a alternate of Bleu de Chanel's Parfum Edition, I felt, which is basically a fragrance that's got a lot of citrusy elements. It's got a little bit of incense, it's got a little bit of spicy elements, but most importantly, it's got a nice rosewood, cedarwood, that kind of a base with a little bit of ambriness. Excellent alternate for Bleu de Chanel Parfum Edition, and makes for a great, great summer fragrance because of the way the scent profile is. It's very nice in the air. It's got a little bit of a sweetness to it, but mostly it's got that very nice feeling of incense along with that sweetness of citrus, along with that woody vibe, and the woodiness is a little lower on this particular fragrance compared to Iconic. Blue Armaf Blue Iconic has got sandalwood a little bit more, but here it's more dominant and citrus, and I feel that works very well for summers, whereas Iconic would work a little bit more towards the evening hours or towards the winter part of the day. Other than that, I can still tell you that this is a great performer because you get good 3 feet plus of projection. You get 6-7 hours of performance on this one as well. And at the price point in which it is selling currently, about 1,850 to 2,000, 2,050, this is super value for money. Okay, a few of you have booked this also through us, but I would really be happy that if you can get it around 1,800, 1,900, it's a fantastic deal to get. This is a super fragrance to consider, especially if you want a day wear, office wear, casual, a fragrance that gives you a good sense of quality, nice upmarket kind of a feel. I would say this is one of them to consider. This is Blue by Ahmad Al Maghrabi, fantastic alternate of Bleu de Chanel Parfum Edition. One of my favorite fragrances this summer, and number 5 on my list, right? So let's move ahead to number 4. Number 4 on this particular list is a fragrance that I'm yet to review, but I've tried this and I kind of really like it. This is the Atlas from the house of Latafa. This is the newest fragrance that opens up like this, and you have this particular fragrance like this, a heavy bottled fragrance, I mean really heavy. And from a value point of view, this probably is the least value for money right now, in the sense because this is 50 ml, 55 ml, and this costs about 2,000 rupees roughly, close to about 2,000 rupees. This is superb in its performance because this is an alternate of Ortho Parisis Megamere. Now, okay, Megamere as a fragrance is got citrusy elements, it's got seaweed, it's got cologne, it's got hedoine, it's got a little bit of cedar, all of that, but you get what you get in the air or when you spray it is you get a little bit of sweetness, you get a lot of sea salt, aquatic, marine type of a fragrance with a little bit of citrus element, but definitely a beast kind of a performer. Okay, now you can do at a few sprays, about 6 to 8 sprays, and especially in places where there is high heat, high humidity, and you want a fragrance to last, you can definitely consider this. This is too good for that kind of a climate, although the price point is slightly higher when you consider the volume that you kind of get, but the packaging is superb. The cap is superbly heavy. I mean, I think it's one piece, it's a stone or it's a metal. It is really, really heavy, okay, very heavy. I mean, it weighs almost like the type of the bottle, and the bottle itself is very heavy as well. I will do a detailed presentation or a review of this particular fragrance, but if you're looking for a good alternate of Ortho Parisis Megamere, you want a quality fragrance that smells nice, has good presentation, lasts really long, and you want value for money, bang for buck, beast performance, you should definitely consider getting Atlas from Lattafa. Okay, another alternate to this, in case you don't want to spend so much, you want a much lower alternative, then Paris Corners Chaos in the Sun also is pretty good. It's a similar kind of a fragrance, but I feel the quality of perfume is very high in Lattafa here, and they have done a fab job when it comes to this fragrance. So that is my number 4 pick, which is Lattafa Atlas and Alt of Ortho Parisis Megamere. Extremely good performer. For some high heat, high humidity, you can definitely consider that, right? So let's move on to the top 3 fragrances right after this. Number 3 for me this year has to be another fragrance that I've absolutely enjoyed this year is Lattafa's Al Nashama Caprice Blue. Okay, now this is an alternate of Yves Saint Laurent's Blue Electric from the LNDH series, right? It's a fragrance that's basically got citrus, it's got cardamom, it's got a little bit of ginger, it's got a little bit of woody elements of all of that, but in the air it smells so very nice. It's got a nice lavender touch to it, it's got a little bit of that powdery element to it. But what you kind of get, or why I recommend this as a summer fragrance, okay? Not all summer fragrances need to be very loud, very, always performing great. This is a good performer, no less. It's a good performer. It gives you about 6 hours plus. It's the scent profile that's very, very pleasing on this particular fragrance because of that citrusy notes, along with those cardamom notes and the woody notes. It makes for a very good fragrance. Along with that lavender, it gives you a very good vibe. While I've always said the LNDLH La Nuit de l'Homme series or the flanker is more suited for the evenings, Caprice or Blue Electric is definitely for the daytime. I would still say that this is not an all-out summer fragrance, but if you are in a indoor AC environment, you're at home, you want a summer fragrance that smells like summer, but at the same time can be a little bit mixed because of spring and winter as well, then you can definitely consider this. I have highly recommended this fragrance for a lot of people, and I've enjoyed this fragrance as well because I feel this is a very unique element or a unique addition to the existing summer list of fragrances, right? So you should get this for about 1800 to 2000 rupees again for the full 100 ml, and the presentation is very, very good looking presentation, a good bottle, a good magnetic cap for the box as well, and there is the brown one that I will be reviewing in a few days time as well, so we will look at that. But this is really, really nice, very good light in the air, very nice scent profile, a light sweetness, light citrusy, cardamom, oriental spices that you kind of get, and of course woody vibe plus the talcum part. So very good addition for summer that you can definitely consider. This is Al Nashama from the house of Lattafa. This is the blue one, which is an alt of Yves Saint Laurent Blue Electric. Okay, let's get to number 2 right away. Number 2 for me this year has to be from the house of Grandeur Elite, and this is basically the fragrance called as Soaked Sun. Right now, Soaked Sun, has had a lot of hype, and a lot of people kind of like this fragrance, and rightly so. It's a fantastic fragrance from the house of Grandeur Elite. It looks like this. It's a very beautiful bottle, blue-colored bottle, and this is an alternate of Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim, which is basically a fragrance that's got a lot of citrusy elements along with a little bit of ambergris and ginger. So you kind of get a feeling of that you're kind of sniffing a little bit like tiger you have because of that citrus element and ginger. You kind of get that vibe, but you get a very pleasant, very clean, very neat scent profile of nice citrusy fragrance. Lightly sweet, not a lot sweet at all, but lightly sweet, but Smells very refreshing, very energetic, and every time you put this on, you feel really nice. Okay, so that's something they have done very, very nicely. Now, I don't know how close this is to the OG. Of course, I really don't know because I don't have the OG, but I would say that as an independent fragrance, this smells too good and very, very nice. And the performance on this is little lighter, I would say, in the sense to say that it's a soft kind of a scent and lasts for about 5 to 6 hours time. Definitely no problems with that. It's a great value for money because at about 2,100 rupees, it's an excellent scent to get, and especially the bottle is a fantastic bottle to keep. It's a little like La Infinite. Okay, the bottle here is a little plasticky. The cap here, you have a little more magnetic kind of a cap. That's what you kind of get. Very nice fragrance, beautiful summer fragrance, especially for indoor use, in car, AC environments, soft scent that you want to have. You want to feel refreshed, good vibe, but you do not want to annoy anybody. You want to get compliments. You can definitely consider this excellent summer fragrance from the house of Granular Light called as Soap Sun, an alternate of Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim. So on that note, let's hit the number 1 fragrance in this particular list. All right, so let's look at the number 1 fragrance. So here it is, my number 1 pick for this year's list of Middle Eastern houses summer fragrances is definitely Rue Brocas Theorem. Okay, now I call this excellent bang for buck, excellent performer, and all the boxes, it kind of ticks all the boxes, because this you get 90 ml of this juice for approximately about 2,050 rupees roughly is what you would be able to get, sub 2,050 rupees roughly. Super fragrance because this is an alternative of the most popular Bulgari's Tiger. Now this is a fragrance that's basically got grapefruit, it's got ginger, it's got ambroxan, and that's about it. It's got a little bit of woody elements like, you know, cedar and all of that. What you kind of get when you put this on is a beast mode kind of a fragrance, in my opinion. Extremely loud, extremely energetic, extremely refreshingly positive energy, good vibe that you get. You get a nice citrusy sweet opening along with a nice hint of that gingery spicy element, and of course ambroxan and or ambergris gives you that good throw that you want in the air. So that projection is really, really nice, and that woody brings woody element brings everything together, makes a wonderful fragrance. Okay, now I kind of choose this over Turati Blue or in the Indian houses, dopamine, all of that. From a Middle Eastern house point of view, I think this is fab. Okay, for multiple reasons, because at sub 2,000 rupees you can get a 90 ml, whereas Turati Blue is the 2,300, that kind of category. And somehow whenever I've tried that versus this, I've kind of leaned against this as one of the better scents is what I feel. So anyways, we are getting the Paris Corners North Stack series very soon. So the couple of those fragrances, Tiger and Imagination, we will look at that as well. But for this list and value for money fragrances, this is definitely one of them. So this is my number 1 pick, called Theorem from the house of Rue Brocas, which is an alternate of Bailari Tiger. Excellent for outdoor use, excellent for summer, excellent for heat, excellent for office wear, lasts long, good performance, beast mode performance. You get about 2 to 3 feet, 3 feet easily, and loud and a very mass pleasing, you know, lot of compliment getting type of a fragrance, right? So those are my 10 fragrances plus 3 honorary mentions in this particular list of Middle Eastern fragrances for 2024. This probably will be my list 1 because I am testing out so many new fragrances like Liam Blue. Okay, I do have a Pear Potion. I do have other fragrances coming in as well. Like I said, North Star 1 and 3 as well, and a lot more happening. So when I review all of those fragrances, maybe I will have another list as well. But these are all the top 10 fragrances that I think that I can offer you. Now, one other good thing is, in case you would want to try any of these fragrances, right after this review, all of these fragrances are going to be added to a decanting list, and some of them are already available, but some of them would be added on this list, and you can definitely get your decants, try them, and let us know how you kind of like. And if you like some fragrance and you want to buy a brand new one, you can WhatsApp us on the WhatsApp number that's about there on the screen, and we will offer you the most competitive prices possible. We are not sellers. I am not a seller, and my partner are not sellers. We review fragrances, I review fragrances, but we've been able to source a lot of fragrances from a lot of community members, and we kind of know that we can offer you at good prices. So if that is something that you would be interested, definitely DM us. But yes, decants are available for all of them, and you can try these fragrances before you get them, right? So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share. Follow us on WhatsApp, follow us on Instagram and on YouTube as well. So until another time, take care. Bye for now.